Hi everyone, it's Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is Fear the Walking Dead, Season 4, Episode 4, fan reactions. Wow, wow, wow. Obviously this is a fan reaction video, so spoilers are included. If you're joining the stream, we are going to talk about tonight's episode. And I just want to say something just kind of hit me really, really hard. For those of you that say, I'm going to stop watching a show because this character died, boy, you are missing out, because I think the storyline is getting deeper, more intense. A lot of stuff we talked about in the countdown is really starting to come true. There's a lot of mystery, a lot of telling the story, and tonight just another epic bombshell. I mean, last week we were completely shocked by Nick, and then tonight John's story really, really got told. So we're going to go into that tonight. Thanks for I appreciate all of you guys being here and joining this. This stream is really about your reaction, your comments. So I'm going to talk about a couple things that stood out to me, but we're going to get right into it, and loved it again. So all the people watching the stream and all the people watching the playback, really, really quickly, on a scale of 1 to 10, we do this every week. I want you to give a rating to tonight's episode. I'm going to give it a 10. I rarely give things a score, but it had good action. It was real. It had real emotions in it tonight. Not only the love story, we're going to find out about that next week, but also you find out that it's not uncommon for people to want to leave, and the way they're telling the story, it's a part of Walking Dead that they don't really tell very often. So I'm going to call in a couple. We got Cammy says 9, Pat says an 8, Kelly 9, Steph 8.75, Kel says smile 9.99. There you go. AJ a 10, Emmy 10. Emmy, I'm surprised Emmy didn't go 12. Chris 8.5. But I'm loving these scores. I'm loving the fact that Pete D says a 9. Dakota a little bit lower, 7.5. One thing about The Walking Dead, if I can compare, because in the last couple years what we did was we said, well, Fear the Walking Dead, it's not The Walking Dead, it's not as good. We're seeing the tide start to turn. One thing that Walking Dead does, people just leave. They have a bad day, they have emotion. Carol gets in, she bolts. Turn around, somebody's gone. These people, Strand had a plan. Strand was looking for a new lover, obviously, and packed up. He wanted to take the guy with him. Lucy opened the map, and then you see Naomi, and you wonder, why is Naomi on the run? What's going on with Naomi? And they're really getting down to the emotion. Absolutely. Captain Crawfish hit the nail on the head here. He's given it 8.7. I think it's a little low, but says storytelling way better than previous seasons. I think when we get closer to the story of what all happened, I think it's going to enhance previous episodes. So some people are saying like an 8.5, a 9. You might go back and like, oh, wow, I didn't really notice that was going on. It might even be higher than that. So follow-up question for the group, and then I'll give you my shocking moment as far as reaction. So when you watched the whole episode, what was your wow moment for tonight? What really, really shocked you? And I'm going to call in a few people. If you guys are watching the playback or you're new to our streams, this is it's live forum, it's live reactions. The reaction is all about people joining this chat. If you want to be included in it, sign up, subscribe, like the videos, get involved, join our fan page, and your comment will end up as part of this video as well. If you super chat, it's going to show up as well. Rick Fisher says Strand. He was a little surprised at Strand. He was very kind of coy, and when he did finally get the opportunity to go out on this run, then that was the time for him to make his move. John F. says John and Naomi. Yeah, that Naomi was Laura. That's Graylin 28. Kelly Golanzinier says that Strand had the supplies. People are starving, but yet Strand has been setting up his own little thing. Jimmy's Jamming said the civil dialogue between Madison and Mel. Well, Jimmy, you were part of the countdown stream, and I pretty much called that, because I did give the comparison of the movie Heat, and I thought it would be just that real subtle build up. We're going to talk about that in 1 minute as well. I think a lot of people were a little surprised that, I know I certainly was, that Laura is Naomi, that she didn't tell him the real name. So many things happened, and that's why I want to get the reactions and also recap a little bit, because maybe when you have a chance to sort of debrief, talk about the show a little bit, you might actually rate it a little higher. I just wanted to get kind of the raw numbers just right out of the gate, but we'll do this again maybe tomorrow and just see, if your opinion changed. Chris, it's a good question. So Chris Randing said, what happened? Half the group left. We don't know. We are 4 episodes in, and I can't tell you. I mean, I can tell you that we think Naomi is dead. So here's the question that I have for the group. I just want to throw it out there. Is Naomi dead, or could Alicia be lying? Was it Alicia or... Hang on. Or was it Lucy? Who said that Naomi didn't make it? Is it possible that whoever, either Lucy or Alicia, said that to get John to help fight? Julia Drum says Alicia's lying. Well, one thing the group has been with Althea, she said, well, you told me the truth, sandwiched between 2 pieces of BS. They did. They had the gun. Pete, I thought about that, but did they take the supplies and hide them? Were they in a hurry? Did some of the people get captured? Because we still think some of the people could be captured. Now, if Naomi is truly dead, where she says she didn't make it, she didn't say she died. She did say she didn't make it. It is just a little bit odd that it's Nick, Strand, Alicia, and Lucy. So does that mean the other 40-something people all died? I'm not sure about that. That would be... I got to think there's more to it. So, if so, how did she die? What happened? So, something big went down. So, I'm going to throw a question out for the group, and then we'll get back to some more reactions. Are the other 40 people dead? Do you think the other 40 people are dead? It's a good point. Football says Madison's reaction to Nick's death would be devastating. Belani says maybe they left her in a situation, don't know for sure. Wow. We're all over the place on this. I know it's hard to say. Some people think they're dead. A lot of people are coming in saying nope. This is probably going to be split 50-50. It's a lot of people to be gone. It would probably be one of the highest death tolls ever on The Walking Dead. I know the scene with Ezekiel's men getting mowed down. That was probably the most I've seen. But it's escalating. It's getting closer and closer for something to happen. Naomi does run. Good point. Maybe she is on the run again. So we got some people saying we don't think they're all dead. And I think that's important. Because if you think all of them are dead, well, then clearly Naomi and Madison would be included in that group. But if you think that any of them are alive, that they gave up, that they were taken hostage, that they were part of the group, then she could still be out there. Naomi the nurse and John the cop. Interesting dynamic, and we're going to see that relationship, how it works out. So Jimmy's jamming. So is Strand, Strand is thinking he's looking for something he lost a long time ago. Remember, Strand had a yacht. He was, I hate to kind of go back through the history of Strand, but he's looked out for himself before. And he did have a little stash on his yacht. So Strand is always one step ahead. I thought the journalist thing is a real interesting dynamic. So I'm going to get a couple more reactions in a little bit. What is so awesome about this season in Fear the Walking Dead is how all the jobs are going to make so much sense. And how it works, right? You've got a journalist, and the journalist is able to film this, and we get the story because a person is a journalist. And you've got Naomi, and you can see she wants to set up an infirmary, she wants to help people. And then you got John, who's a cop. But we don't know John's history. I did ask this question last week. Is John a good cop? Or you think that maybe Naomi was running from John? Possibility? I know we like John. I know, we've gotten attached to his character really quickly. But are we so sure about him? Yeah, that's a good point, Drama. It seems like John is a little more into Naomi than she was into him. Doesn't he seem a little stalkerish? Pat's first thought, maybe she was running from John. It's another Walking Dead moral dilemma. Rick Fisher with a super chat, and it's a great point, Rick. Crazy ex John. Steph, abusive ex might be a little tough. I think, I don't know the writers would write that in. I mean, we've seen what happens to abusive exes in the past. Carol's husband. I think if they go down that road, it's going to be hard for us to ever get attached to John. slightly obsessed, maybe we can kind of get over it. But if he's abusive, he's done on the show. People aren't going to, they're not going to like him in the future. But maybe neither. I mean, maybe he just, maybe he's just in love. I mean, I don't want to bash John because of what happened at the end, but yeah, let's give it another week or so. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's Naomi. It's a good point. Dwayne Sharp says maybe they just got separated and she's looking for him too. I want to believe that. But I'm an optimist and I have hope. And we saw what happened tonight with 3 people that had hope. It didn't work out so well. They blamed themselves for Nick's death because they had hope. I'm not hating on John. I like John. And not only do I like John, once again, I've said this every week. And I can't just ask the question because I need people to see it and feel it when they watch the playback to get the gist of it. So, from a scale of 1 to 10, how anxious are you to see next week's story? I'm a 10, man. I'm excited. I'm a 10 man. I'm not a 10 man. That'd be Wizard of Oz. I am really, really stoked. They have got me wanting to see next week's episode, like over and over again. Watch these numbers come in. If you don't believe that fear is making its mark, look at these numbers. 10, 9, 10. I mean, people are excited about the show again. Keep it going. If we can maintain a whole season and then get next season where it doesn't get corny at any point this season, we might be on to something. Mumblebee says, getting better every week. Loving it. 4 episodes in the books, and we are on the money. All right, I'm going to get a couple more reactions, but I'm going to ask everybody here. We got somewhere between 100, 150, 200 people who'd be popping in and out of the stream right now. You guys can all do me a favor. And Laura, that like button one time. You guys can just hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Show a little bit of love for the 999 Army. And also, before we get to the next reaction, just want to make a special announcement that we will be doing our Season 9 spoiler live chat starting tomorrow. So, Walking Dead, we're going to get to the real deal. And we're going to start drawing a lot of comparisons between Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. And, of course, Tuesday we will do random things. So if you like just to hang out, chill, talk a little bit about The Walking Dead and a whole lot of other stuff, then Tuesday night is that's where you want to be. So hang out with us. No stream this coming up week on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, but I'll try to do something for Saturday. So Jimmy's Jammin' said there's got to be some filler episodes. No, Jimmy, I don't think they're going to be filler episodes. I think the writers, next week you're going to get a little bit of filler, but it's going to be, it's not really filler because it's telling John's story, and I don't think they really are going to have filler this season because they're going past and present, past and present. So because of the format that they're doing, it's all relative. So Raymond Carter says, is Madison dead? Starting to think so. Yeah, it's feeling like it. Well, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. If the group thinks that there are some captives, Madison would definitely be one of those. So Carrie Stauffenberger says, I love the past and I do too. They got me. They got me hooked this season. One question was answered tonight where I think it was Strand was talking about, and he was excited. He's like, we know all their locations. Maybe the Vultures do a lineup too, but instead of a bat, ooh, they let a walker eat them. Oh man, Dwayne, that is rough. All right, follow-up question for the group, and I am going to get your reactions because I like, as eerie and spooky as that was, Dwayne, you bring up an excellent point. Dawn of the Frank, Kills, did Alicia say brother or mother at the end of Al's interview? Brother. They all said Nick, my brother, and then my friend. All three of them were referring to Nick. Okay, I have to ask the group this question. So don't answer right away. Give me a little bit of thought with this. And I did mention this in the countdown that there's a lot of anxiety building and I'm on the edge of my seat and I can't wait to see next week's episode. So is Fear the Walking Dead building us up for something unlike we've ever seen before in Walking Dead with the Vultures in the stadium? Number one. And number two, you know, Dwayne, I don't know that they'll go line up and have someone eat them. You know, I don't think it's going to be like a small clown is going to jump out of a car and attack somebody. But the fact that they act like a circus, the fact that it is building up and Mel is starting to look absolutely diabolical. Let me know, two-part question. Are they building up for something epic, and what potentially could that be? Because anything, they have hyped this up to such a level. Anything short of something like the Governor or something like the Negan lineup, I mean, I think they're going to go to a different level. I can't say that, Fluff. Dakota says definitely a big twist coming. Skull Crusher. I think they're weird. I agree with that. If they had us on the edge of our seat tonight with Naomi and the Nick death was completely out there, nobody knew. This stadium ordeal is going to be a big, big thing. Julia, so when I saw the walker in the library, I actually thought that there's still some good in the world. I feel like that is a librarian that tied himself up and cut his wrist so he couldn't hurt anybody. Somebody that might have figured it out. I mean, that was my first reaction to it. But I will say that the two producers, and I guess, was it last week on Talking Dead? They said that this season is just absolutely littered with Easter eggs, that there's so many clues in here. And I think that's the type of thing that you look at that and it's like, wow, well, that means this and this means that. And I think there's a lot of stuff that we're probably missing, but they also hold on one second. I just saw a comment that now I got to scroll up. Hang on. Skull Crusher. They had to go a different level than what the governor did with, and what Negan did. They have to step it up. So, yeah, a couple comments that I did want to follow back up with that as well. But back to the Easter eggs, and then I think I missed a couple comments, so sorry. Cammy's going to rewatch. I don't think we're going to get the whole gist of it, even if we watch this multiple times. We're really going to go through and say, hey, did you see that, or did you notice? I mean, even Mel's jacket. Mel's jacket, his pants, his shirt, I think all this stuff means something. I mean, we were analyzing earlier, where did he get the hot dogs from? The other thing, I know what I want to touch base with you guys on, is what did you think about Madison finishing Mel's story? Like, I already know what you're doing, I already know how it's going to end, and just, bam, jumping in there. Like, thinking she knew. And then, when she didn't know, the complete shock on her face. They do. They do. They did say the opening credits, if you piece them all together, it's a story. I didn't really want to piece all of them together because I figured that I'll just wait till the end of the season. We're still here. Just going through a couple comments, everybody. Young Eb, we'll have to I'll have to go back and check that out. All right, I'm going to go through, and while I'm waiting on a couple comments here, I'm going to get everybody's thoughts and your reaction. If the thing wouldn't have happened with John, and I knew the scene between Mel and Madison was going to go down, I really liked well, hang on. Chris, the walker could not have been, the librarian could not have been Madison. Even if it looked like Madison, because that scene happened from the past. And then they got the map, and then they went and told Madison the idea. So, yeah, it was just a long-haired librarian. It was Tara. Oh, we do have the anti-Tara. All right, so besides the epic thing at the very end, I really liked the water park scene. I thought the water park scene was well done. Every stage of it, from we learned about Naomi, we learned that Alicia is trying to get people there. Somebody else was trying to run. It fit very, very well. And then the whole slide thing, I got to tell you, I was a little anxious when Naomi's sliding down. I'm like, how's this going to work out? Is she going to die? Is she going to get to the bottom? Are they going to capture? I don't know. It was just something weird about the little things they're doing. Even when they're climbing up the slide, I'm thinking, like, that's tough to do. Alicia's in the water. She's trying to jump up. And if anyone's ever been to one of these water parks where you've tried to do that, it's not easy to do. So the writers and the producers are very, for something that's completely fictitious, are very accurate. It's almost like, you know how difficult it is when you got to jump out of the water? You can't really do that. Well, imagine doing it when walkers are chasing you. It's like, that's stuck in my mind. And then they're walking up there with the algae, and you're thinking like, oh, this is going to be slippery. Are they going to make it? So I'm waiting for them to get to the top, and then they get to the top. And the only thing that I was thinking is, Naomi says to Alicia, like, here, look over there. And then Naomi, obviously, she jumps on the slide and takes off. I was just expecting her to be like, wee, something loud like that. But yeah, she was able to get away very stealthy. All right. Let me jump over here to a couple comments. AJ says, it kind of seemed like Naomi had been at the water park before, though. How did she know the keys she found to the vehicle she was checking out prior? AJ, that was kind of tough. I mean, I didn't get that feeling. I mean, I did notice she saw what kind of car it was, and then it looked like it was in good shape. So when she got to the top and knew someone was holed up in there, that looked like the car they'd been driving. I mean, a little coincidental, but I was okay with it. I didn't necessarily see that she had been there before. So Naomi is Laura. Well, is Naomi Laura, or is Laura Naomi? Was she honest with John and lied to the group, or vice versa? All right, I'm going to hit a couple more comments here. Let me flip through a couple notes and see what I want to ask you guys. The comment that Lucy made, where there was a day we could have stopped all of this, I was a little surprised that they skipped, I guess, that fast. I liked it, but I thought they were going to drag this out for 2 or 3 more episodes. So the fact that they got to the day, so thoughts about the faster pace? Some good comments. I'm going to jump back over here in 1 minute. So Eric C. says, waiting for them to get to what happened to Madison. Yeah, I thought they would wait another week or two to at least give us that. And good point. Dawn of the Frank says it is a little confusing. There's no doubt that you got to be on your toes. There's a lot of stuff that we've missed. And I think the more we watch it, the more we go back and realize it. But absolutely, Willani, I agree. I love the development of the story, and the pace is almost perfect. And this goes out to, well, really, Julia and Dwayne. And the rest of the group is, the story is vague enough that I think they want us doing that. They want us saying, wait a minute, could this person be part of the Vultures? Or it's like a red herring. I mean, you think you know what's going to happen, but we're spending so much time wondering what Naomi's background is and whether she's lying or telling the truth. We can't really follow it. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this for the first time. I've never said this about these two shows. Fear the Walking Dead is doing a better job of showing how unpredictable people are than The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead has gotten... and hang on. I am not bashing The Walking Dead. I love The Walking Dead. Absolutely love it. I'm ready for season 9. I want to talk about it. But the characters are more predictable now than the Fear the Walking Dead characters. They've completely flipped it around. Last year it was like we knew Nick what he was going to do. We knew what Strand was going to do. We knew what Madison was going to do. And The Walking Dead was starting to get like that. But now we know Daryl's going to be Daryl. We know what Jesus is going to do. Right? So The Walking Dead is getting more predictable, but Fear is keeping us guessing every single week, like what's going on. And Fear is really getting down into the psychology. They are, well, Strand wants a lover and he's packed up stuff. That's something real people would do in an apocalypse. They would be selfish. They would care about that, and they wouldn't care about the greater good. That's just the honest nature of the way people are in this situation. Because they know that people in big groups get picked apart. Yeah, when you had crops and there weren't vultures outside your stadium, you saw the convenience of being part of the community. Let me ask this question to the group, because this will drum up a reaction. So, you live in a neighborhood, and your next door neighbor starts doing something you don't like. And I'm not talking about you call the police or whatever. But anyway, it changes. And then the neighbor across the street, they start doing something you don't like. And eventually you got several neighbors, and the neighborhood's changed. Now, do you call them all together in the middle of the parking lot and say, all right, I'm going to teach you how to be a good neighbor, and this is what I want you to start doing, and this is the way you need to live, and you need to do that? Or are you going to say, probably going to sell the house, probably going to move, probably going to get out of this neighborhood? Well, it's a rhetorical question. And that is what they're doing with Fear the Walking Dead. They're showing that it's about self-preservation to a degree. But it's about community when it works. But there's always bigger fish. And when you're there and you realize everybody's going to die, you're thinking like, well, I can stay here and die with everybody, or I can have an alternative plan. And I think we're seeing the dark side of people. The same thing. There's one person on Walking Dead that thinks that way. And it's Eugene. And Eugene gets ripped more than anybody on the show because he's a coward. But there's a part of Eugene, and I mentioned this, that I'm starting to like a little bit because Eugene is very honest, flawed but honest. And the characters on Walking Dead are starting to show me a little bit of personality. Great. Crawfish says, only if I had a ballpark, Frank, hot dogs, and a megaphone. Eugene had a megaphone. But when there's so much going on and there's danger around every corner, the group said this, and they were so profound when they made this comment. Strand said he had hope. They had hope things would change. They all went back because they hoped that things would work out, and it didn't work out. Because these vultures have something planned. They're not waiting it out. They are going to smoke them out one way or another. They are going to rain some wrath and some fury on Madison and Company. All right, we're going to get a couple more reactions, and we are going to wind this thing. Holy cow, we're like 41 minutes already. Yeah, this is so much to talk about. All right, I'm going to see if there's one or two more highlights. We will talk about fear, and we'll touch on this episode as well. Mel and Enos confirmed brothers. They might have mentioned that before. I think we speculated if it was out there, but so we do know that Mel is not going to be overly pleased about the death of his brother. Strand did say tonight, you think you know what happened, but you're wrong. That was a very eerie foreshadowing. You think you know what happened, but you're wrong. And I do know that Naomi was setting up a little infirmary. And Naomi even said it's going to get worse before it gets better. So, they talked about a previous fire. That could have been foreshadowing. If not, we're still thinking it. They talked about leaving. Naomi talked about finding another place. And she also talked about it getting worse before it gets better. So Jimmy's jamming, says time flies when you're having fun. These reaction videos and the random things are probably two of my favorite because you're absolutely right. Time does fly. And when you're with a great group of people, it does too. And we got just an awesome group of participants that get involved. Drama King says, Kills, do you think all the vultures are in the parking lot? Or I think they're elsewhere. I will say this, that Madison has not... I'm not a huge Madison fan yet, but the less they give her to do, the more I start to like her. So her demeanor tonight, I liked it. I know my people. Weenie, I'm good. I mean, she's very blunt to the point. And now they got her saying just enough to make me interested in her character. I know I'm hard to win over with characters, but when I support a character, it's got to have some relevance to it. I don't want to just kind of go back and forth and be wishy-washy about it. Not saying you guys do, but there are some that do. They can be manipulated from episode to episode. But her not getting all the airtime, ironically, makes me appreciate her character a little bit more, if that makes sense. Yeah. Alani, less is more with her. that if they only show her a little bit like they did tonight, if she does die, by the time she dies, I might miss her character a little bit. But after the first 3 seasons, absolutely not. I would not have missed her at all. Maria Favada says, do you think Morgan will become the lead character in Fear? Maria, only if Morgan can become the lead character and not be a leader. Because Morgan will not be a leader in any way, shape, or form. Nobody's going to follow Morgan. He'll be a wise man. He'll do his role. He might be the reason people tune in. Like, for example, Daryl's a lead character, but Daryl's not a leader. So I see Alicia becoming the real, the driver of that group. And I do think that the stronger. All right, I'm gonna throw this out for the group, and then we'll wind it down. I'm gonna ask you guys a question that I probably already halfway answered. As Alicia becomes a stronger character, do you see Madison's character becoming less important? Because the two of them did have a hard time coexisting. As Alicia started to come into her own last season, they were butting heads a lot. And I just don't see them as being co-leaders. Yeah, and Steph, you probably said it the way I was starting to say it, but I just want to get a little bit of input from the viewers. So you can see the transition start to happen. So, if Alicia becomes more powerful, like she is, if there's an epic event that goes down at the stadium, and if there's a epic, crazy death for Madison during that, this show will be badass for seasons to come. I know it's not what a lot of Madison fans want to hear, but if they can pull that off and they can really write off the person that was the star of the show in the beginning, but it just didn't pan out the way they probably wanted it to. I think you go out there with a concept, and maybe it was going to be Madison's show, and you realize that, wait a minute, people are more interested in this Alicia character. They relate to her a little bit more. Then you do what you got to do. Young Eb says, Alicia is our leader now. I'm down with that. I just like Alicia's decision making. But I might like Madison's decision making. I don't know. I'm gradually. What I'm trying to do is put a lot of that first 3 season baggage behind us and just react to what she's doing right now. And I like it. I like what Madison is doing. I like that she knows her group and she's not afraid to walk out and be face to face with the bad guys. And she doesn't have to make it overly dramatic. She's like, nope, I'm good, and turn around and walk away. And I like that. Very casual, subtle. But you could see a little concern on her face. And that concern was with exactly what happened to Mel. Mel told her the truth. Sometimes when you stick around, you make the wrong decision. Not always about running. All right, everybody, I want to thank everybody, every single person for being in the stream. If you're new to the stream, thank you so much. We just hit 50 minutes, so it is the fastest stream I think I've ever done in my life. You guys are amazing. Appreciate all the interaction, all the comments, the reactions, people watching the playback. Leave comments below. If you guys can give me a quick 999 in chat, I want to do some shout-outs on the way out the door. If you're watching the playback, this is the closing credits. You can go ahead and take off. If you're still here, give me a quick 999. We'll do that, and then we will be back here at 9:30 tomorrow. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do 2 things. We're going to talk about The Walking Dead Season 9, but we're also going to circle back and after 24 hours just sort of give this a chance. We'll talk a little bit about Fear the Walking Dead tomorrow too, because I'm still excited about it. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here. I want to say what's up to Maria, also the Cat Nat. Who else we got? Jimmy's Jammin', Julia Drums, Eric C. in the house, Hippo in the house as well, Bumblebee Brown, Valar, thank you for being here. My moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, Chris Rainig, always a pleasure. My man, Lou F., Skullcrusher 69, Walani, Dawn of the Frank, appreciate you being here. Ultra Groove tonight. Thanks for being here, Ultra Groove. Haiti Badoon, Kelly Golon Zenier, The Walking Dead Nerd. All my Patreons up there. You can see them. Thank you for your support. All the sponsors, thanks for your support. The Super Chatters as well. And also the people that are rocking the 999 gear at Threadless. You can see now available. We got Fear the 999 Army t-shirts. We got the 999 Army official t-shirt. We also got Lucille the like button, which you guys should be doing before you leave the stream. And we'll also be adding a brand new shirt next week. So we're going to add a different one each week. And you're going to want to see the Pete D shirt that we're making especially for Pete. That's going to come out. Might even come out this week. So spoiler alert. Thanks, everybody. AJ Jepson, thanks for being here. Who else we got? I missed a ton of shout-outs. If I miss you in a shout-out, don't ever take it personally, because I will get around to you eventually. We can't do all of them every night. Just time permitting. Football Stuff Worldwide, thanks for being here. Captain Crawfish. Thank you, Captain. Captain. Dave. Captain Dave? Yeah. Commercial was playing during Walking Dead. I know that's a sore spot when we talk about commercials. All right. Thanks, everybody. Missed a few people. I will see you all tomorrow night at 9:30, and we're going to talk Season 9 of The Walking Dead and splash in a little bit of fear. Michelle M. Barely under the radar. Thanks, everybody. See ya. Peace.